Hola amigos, this is level 12 and today we are going to be asking ourselves, is Goku aromantic? Now I was thinking of this question last night when I was thinking of doing another video idea and I'm like, Goku might be aromantic, because from what I've seen in the show, he isn't very romantic towards his wife versus how other characters act towards their significant others, and it's been brought up multiple times that he isn't really romantic or passionate towards his wife Chi-Chi, and I was like, well, could he be aromantic and just a sexual being as most people are? Oh my gosh, keyboard, work with me once. So first, I thought I'd define what is aromanticism. Aromanticism is the lack of romantic feelings towards someone, however can still have feelings of love, like that of a mother and child, or friends, meaning platonic relationships. Like, you can be friends, but you're not really gonna have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, which comes with the love aspect. It's just, love is a different type of caring for someone than just a mother and child or friends. People who are aromantic can still have sexual relations with someone, though they still won't hold romantic feelings towards them. And if you're like, well, that's not possible, well, let me explain with friends with benefits. Friends with benefits may not necessarily love each other, but they do hold this bond and they are, having a sexual relationship. And it's understood by both parties that this isn't something romantic, meaning we're not going to get an apartment together and get a little doggy. That's not how this works. So, first I thought we'd take a look at Goku's relationships and see how he handles his relationships with just the people he knows. He has many friends and companions. Some of his close friends could be noted as Krillin, Bulma, and I would go on the far edge and say Vegeta as well, because they're rivals, and in that rivalry there's this good bromance going on there, so they're kind of close friends. His family is Gohan, his two sons, Gohan and Goten, his wife Chi-Chi, and his grandpa Gohan, who found him when he fell to earth and, raised him and made him, act right. In all these relationships, Goku expresses the same personality, a carefree and simple guy, and we'll go in later as to why he acts like that. However, even a romantic person could act this way to all the above relationships. Obviously, in public, you're not going to be holding up on your significant other, frantically making out with them. First off, that's disgusting, and if you do that, please stop. It's gross. But also, just when you're just hanging out together, you're just gonna just put your arm around the person you like and just sit there, and even friends do that. I do that with some of my friends. We sit there, I have my arm around them. Now, some people will take that as a romantic, which has happened to me in the past, but, you can do that type of stuff with people in a non-romantic way, and many aromantics do have this feeling that, oh, I like hugs and cuddles, but I don't like the emotional burden, I guess, of being in a romantic relationship, is what mostly sets apart aromantics from people who do feel romantic attraction. So Goku and Chi-Chi, which is, his wife, from the beginning, Goku didn't know what he was getting into when he married Chi-Chi. He only married her because he promised her he would, and he's a stand-up guy. He keeps his promises. It was very arranged marriagey, and I don't think I ever actually saw their wedding, but I did see the episodes when he was a kid, and Chi-Chi was a kid, and he was, with her, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know he did promise to marry her, and she was all lovey-dovey about it, and she's super lovey-dovey about the relationship, and he's just more or less indifferent towards it, when some husbands are, just in general. Though, when he did realize what the marriage meant and being together forever, he still liked the idea of being with her. Like, when he realized what marriage was, I'm pretty sure he thought it was food to start with. I'm pretty sure that's what went down, and he didn't say, oh no, I don't want to marry you because now I know what marriage is. He still liked the idea of being with her, so he likes her it's like when two friends get an apartment. They like each other enough to live together. That's kind of how I feel this situation was with Chi-Chi, but it still didn't go exactly how Chi-Chi planned, because Goku and his family, Goku's still carefree, he's a free spirit, he still often leaves home to go off and train or to go off and fight, And he kind of doesn't realize he hurts his family when he do this. Like, even after he has kids, he still treats his family more like companions. I remember watching him and Gohan, and, you know, he does love Gohan, but it was more of a friendly relationship than a normal father-son relationship. I guess I really don't want to use this example yet, but the best comparison I could have is Goku parenting Gohan versus Vegeta parenting Trunks. Vegeta parented Trunks with, you know, there's a metaphor, I can't remember it at this moment, but Vegeta parented Trunks with both discipline and respect, and he had that not at the start, obviously, but he eventually had this fatherly bond with him. And when you see Vegeta with his daughter, it's just, now obviously a son versus a daughter is different, and he didn't even want his daughter to fight, which I don't think she ever ended up doing, but you get the picture. Goku's more of a friend towards his kids. I don't even know how he interacted with Goten, because I've never seen him interact with Goten. And Vegeta is more of this kind of fatherlier guy. So why is Goku like this? Because currently he just sounds like a jerk. And I know a bunch of people would think that, like, oh my gosh, you're leaving your family and you're not even thinking about them. And that's just not the case. Goku, there's like actual reasons as to why Goku is like this, and we'll get into some of them because there's some pretty cool reasons, you know. So these are some of the reasons I was talking about before. A big reason is isolation during his childhood from other people except for his grandpa kind of caused him to have a lack in emotional maturity, which means he still has that childhood innocence. Now, when you think of children, they don't really understand romantic relationships yet because the hormones haven't broken in yet, so they kind of view everyone as a friend. It's completely platonic, and even though Goku has gone through puberty, obviously, he still lacks that emotional maturity to feel the, as I said before, the burden of a romantic relationship. When you're in a romantic relationship, it's like a whole other level of love that you have to give. You have to have so much empathy, more empathy for your partner than you would for even your best friend. And I do feel like some best friends relationships can kind of touch the surface of a romantic relationship kind of deal with the bond and the burden and all that stuff. But it's just, he doesn't have the capacity to understand that level of romanticism and maturity in his mind, because he's not dumb, he's just naive and really innocent and really simple. I kind of like to think of him as a simple country guy, because some of the dudes here, they will love you to death, but will they do anything to show their love? Probably not. They're just gonna act like you're their best friend. And for some guys, especially we're down in the South, that's best friend status is as high as you're gonna get, and take it as an honor, because probably only a few people are ever gonna get to that status. A simple nature also means he just doesn't feel that lust or want for a sexual relationship or to have those outbursts of passions. And obviously some exceptions are made in the leeway for Chi-Chi, but it's not really seen in canon. At least I've never seen it, and I've seen over like 500 episodes of this show. I've seen a lot. I've seen Chi-Chi, GT, I've seen Dragon Ball Z, and I've seen the original when Goku was a kid. I've seen a lot of the show, man. Still, I don't see that much romanticness playing inside with his relationship with Chi-Chi. And then the main reason a bunch of people talk about is Saiyans usually don't get attached to their mates or children, especially their children. If you've seen the Saiyan kids when they're babies, they're tested for strength level, and if they're not strong enough or up to whatever standard the Saiyans have, they get shot off to random planets to conquer. And if they are strong enough, they're usually just trained like Vegeta. If you've seen Vegeta when he was a kid, you can see that all he did was train, and he had like Nappa as his nanny. Vegeta isn't really that close with his own dad, even though he did know him. And Saiyans to their mates, we can kind of see the relationship between Goku's father and Goku's mom in quotations, as it's kind of speculated as to his mother is. But we can see them interacting together in movies, and one movie, I can't remember the name of it, I'm so sorry, but you can see Goku's father is about to die, and he has flashbacks of his best friend and presumably Goku's mom, meaning the best friend and the mom are on the same level, in my opinion, and also they just don't get attached to their mates because they're about power and strength, not about romanticism. But then, this has to be highlighted because what other Saiyans do we know? I mean, we see a little bit of Goku's father, and we see Nappa, and we see Raditz, and then this goes into, well, it's probably just Goku's nature since he is a Saiyan. They don't get attached. They don't have mates for a long time. They don't settle down and buckle down and get some kids and whatnot. But what other Saiyan do we know of that we can see and examine and experiment on? Well, experiment in quotations, but you get where I'm going with this. You get where I'm going with this. We're going to the big Saiyan Kahuna himself. We're going to examine Vegeta's relationship with Bulma and prove that it's more of a nurture thing than a nature thing with Goku and his feelings towards Chi-Chi, because one could say, oh, it's just his nature because other Saiyans don't feel this way because there are animals that just breed to have kids and don't really settle down, and there are animals that breed and settle down and will stay with the same mate until one of them happens to die. And still, some animals don't remate because they're so attached to that first mate. And then, well, they're just like, animals. They don't want to have emotional attachments. And that's why I want to examine Vegeta, because he kind of blows that out of the water. I mean, like, seriously, his transformation is like metamorphosis, like from a little worm to a butterfly. We get to see Vegeta transform, and why I don't like the nature versus nurture argument with this, like, oh, it's just his nature, it's just his nature. It's not his nature, and we'll look at Vegeta and figure out why it's not his nature. So Vegeta and Bulma are probably the weirdest couple that ever came out of Dragon Ball, but, it happens, I guess. Anyway, so Vegeta and Bulma. So first we have to look at Vegeta's psyche on him, on his former opinion on family and kids. Vegeta didn't want that. He didn't want kids or a family, and he thought kids were disgusting, and he thought half-breeds were disgusting. He just found the entire thought of a family, ugh. And that doesn't mean he isn't romantic, it's just he was raised to be a prince and raised to kind of just fight, so that was his goal, to be the most powerful in the universe, and a family took a back burner. And he eventually had an affair with Bulma, which produced Trunks, and after Trunks was born, he didn't want anything to do with Bulma or Trunks, which would kind of weigh in the favor of Aromanticism, but he eventually learned how to care for his family after he almost lost them. It took them almost dying for him to realize how much he actually liked his family, because he realized that without them he was kind of sad, and eventually he even gives up training to take care of Bulma during her second pregnancy. Now, if that isn't love and romance, I don't know what is, because that sounds adorable. And it even appalled Vegeta that Goku would train excessively even after having a family. Vegeta would be like, hey, why are you training? He's like, oh, because I want to get stronger. And Vegeta would just be like, dude, you got a family. You got to take care of them. What is wrong with you? And Vegeta has these outbursts of passion. Once Trunks died and Vegeta raged, and one time Bulma got slapped and Vegeta raged. This is his passion and his love for his family being shown on the forefront. And he dotes on his daughter. And as I said before, a son and a daughter are two different things. Like, you're obviously going to treat them different. He just dotes on his daughter, Bulla. I think that's how you pronounce her name. It's Bulla. And he protects her from boys. He like drives her everywhere. He takes her advice. He's the loving father that everyone wants ever, because he's just such a good father. So this blows the nature argument out of the water, because Vegeta learned to be a loving husband, and it's not, yes, it was kind of in his nature to it was instilled in him from his father and the people around him that he needed to be the strongest ever. And one could argue, well, that's also just the Saiyan blood. Well, blood doesn't really have anything to do with how you act. Obviously, it's gonna have some feeling like his strength is from his blood and his genes, but it was imprinted on him because he is a prince, and the royal blood that the wiki talked about is probably just helping his ego and not who he is as a person, because let's be honest, Vegeta has a big ego. But yeah, again, it was more Vegeta's nurture and how people wanted him to be strong and big, and since he was the prince, he felt he had to be the strongest in the universe, and it took him to learn another side. And yes, sometimes he does regret, not being the Saiyan that his father wanted him to be, but if he could do it differently, I don't think he would. I think he would still just want to be with his family, with Bulma and Trunks and Bulla. And you can see how much he cares for his family versus Goku, who kind of is pretty aloof to how his family is and stuff. And it shows how it's another example of a Saiyan who can have these feelings of love and romance and that burden, despite what we see with Goku, who doesn't show that at all. So, is Goku aromantic then? Goku's nurture as a simple man and his childish mentality prevents him from showing these types of outbursts of passion that Vegeta does, as in, because he is simple, and as I said before, simple country boys won't have these huge outbursts of passion unless super pushed to it. And I feel like if Goku did, if Chi-Chi died, he would probably rage like Vegeta, because obviously that's his wife. And Goku does care for Chi-Chi, as Chi-Chi was like, hey, you're a bum, get a job. So she got him a simple job that, Chi-Chi got him a farming job. And even though he hates the job and he does make excuses to go train, he does keeps it because he cares for her and he wants her to be happy. So he keeps the job because he loves her. There's love there. Love. There we go. And his main focus, obviously, is in his family. He wants to become stronger to protect the world he lives on, which includes his family. So you can kind of say that his push to become stronger is a form of romance or love towards his family. But do I believe Goku is aromantic? No. See, what I feel Goku is, so if he's not an aromantic, meaning he can't feel that burden of love, of romance for Chi-Chi, what is Goku? And I believe Goku is, obviously he's not a romantic, but he also isn't on that far side of the spectrum of aromantic, where he doesn't feel any of that at all, because he has to, for what he puts up with Chi-Chi, he has to feel some type of romance, because, boy, platonic relationships with a Chi-Chi girl like that? Nah, fam, nah. I believe Goku is a demi-romantic, and a demi-romantic means he doesn't feel romantic feelings until a strong emotional bond is made with his partner, and given the nature of his marriage to Chi-Chi, which was slightly arranged marriage, in my opinion, that's how it worked out. He made a promise, didn't really know, or arranged marriage. It's possible that romantic attraction was delayed because the relationship moves kind of quickly. You saw Chi-Chi a couple times, and when they were adults, they married. Woohoo! Marriage! Woo! Let's go! Yay! And I feel like it's later that he feels romantic-like, not full-on romantic, but romantic-like feelings towards Chi-Chi, because, he does protect her, he stays with her, he does all this stuff for her, he puts on a suit, he goes to meetings for Gohan, he, gets the farming job, as I said, and he keeps it, and his simple farm boy-like nature, again, just prevents him from having these emotional outbursts like Vegeta would. It prevents him from being on the forefront with his romance like Vegeta, because he is simple-natured and has a really innocent view of the world, and those romantic tendencies wouldn't work with just his personality. Vegeta, he's a hothead. Passionate outbursts are like hothead's main thing. It's their jam. So, is Goku aromantic? Nah. Because he can feel some form of romantic feelings. He can somehow have a bond with Chi-Chi where he puts up with all her crap. And that's where I feel like the main part of him being a demi-romantic comes in, is no one would stay with Chi-Chi for the crap they have to put up with. And Goku feels so strongly towards Chi-Chi in an indescribable way that he's not a full-on romantic, but he's more of a demi-romantic, and he can understand those romantic feelings after such a bond has been made with his partner. Anyways, that's it for this video. I know it was kind of weird, but I wanted to get a video out for Pride Month that had something to do with the LGBT community. And admittingly, my other two ideas weren't as good as this one. And I actually got to revisit one of my childhood favorite animes that has gone down the trash in recent years. Whatever. I'm not salty. You're salty. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more anime and otaku related content. Ciao, chicos!